moment. David, I want to start with you. Are you surprised Donald Trump is publicly going after Boeing? We know that Twitter is his platform of choice, but this kind of comes out of nowhere.
Well, to begin with, I'm not surprised about anything Donald Trump does. He's been the most erratic political leader we've ever seen in this country, at least in the last century. And he does things on purpose, I think, to distract or to, change things up. And so I don't expect any time to say I was surprised by that. I mean, he's going after Air Force One, making an issue out of something that hasn't been an issue yet. $4 billion sounds like a lot, but I don't know if it is a lot. I'd like to see an audit. I'd like to see Congress look at it and make sure it may actually be a reasonable amount of money for a program that's going to take 10, 15 years to complete. I just it seems like every 30, 40 years having a new Air Force One is not unreasonable. And here he is picking on Boeing. At the same time, he's talking about a trade tariff war with China, which could force China to cancel the order for 200 737s made by Boeing. He's playing a pretty dangerous game without, it seems, a lot of forethought.
All right, Elise, we're talking Donald Trump's tweet and saying just a few moments ago, Boeing, take a hike, $4 billion is out of control. Is Donald Trump picking and choosing what he thinks is too expensive? Because a cynic might say, I don't know, Donald, $1 million a day to protect your family. The circus that is the security around Trump Tower, that costs an awful lot of money, too.
Well, I think it shows he's going to get involved in politics on an individualized level, and especially with all of these government contracts, that's a really dangerous precedent to set, that the president is so involved with micro purchases, to say not that this is a small purchase, but that he's going out of his way to focus on that rather than the broader strategy of how he's going to improve the economy.
I want to talk Democratic strategy. A lot of people were surprised, David, last night. Vice President Joe Biden seems to be leaving the door open for 2020. I want to share a little bit of what he said last night. Take a look. Oh, we actually don't have the sound, but for Joe Biden to say 2020, maybe he's in. What do you think of that?
Well, why not? I mean, he doesn't have to commit to anything. He wants to stay in the game. Maybe he wants to, be a voice. I think the big problem right now for the Democrats is that over 60 million people voted for a Democratic candidate, Hillary Clinton. They were the majority. They're scared. They're disappointed. They're upset. They see Donald Trump acting in erratic, dangerous ways. The National Security Advisor is a conspiracy theorist who had a role in pushing Pizzagate. And so they're worried, and they're looking for Democrats to fight back in areas in which it's justifiable to fight back. Democrats looking to investigate what happened with the Russian hack of the election. And they're getting a lot of silence now, I think, from the national Democratic level. And so maybe Joe Biden wants to fill that void. God knows, for Democrats, somebody should do it pretty damn fast.
Elise, many people are saying after this election, clearly the Democratic Party needs some sort of reboot. It's not the case in terms of Nancy Pelosi, keeping her position. If Joe Biden decides he wants to run, does he become the clear front runner? And if that's the case, that doesn't look like a reboot. It seems like this is classic, Democrats who've been in power wanting to stay in power.
Well, the Democrats certainly haven't seemed like they're learning the lessons of what voters wanted this election, and they didn't want a coronation. Where I do think that Joe Biden stands a chance to be effective for the Democratic Party is this is a troll on Trump. This is not going to make Donald Trump happy to have Joe Biden, a very popular national political figure, nipping at his heels and talking of the prospect of running against him already. So that's where I think Joe Biden comes into the equation.
David, what do you think this does to Donald Trump?
You mean the Biden thing?
Yes.
Well, we'll see if he starts tweeting against him. Listen, Donald Trump's skin is so thin. It's like onion paper that we used to use with old typewriters. And he gets upset if Alec Baldwin says something or mocks him. I mean, Joe Biden getting out there, if he's going to do what Elise suggested, what I'd like to see some Democrat do, and start making the case against Trump on a regular basis and pointing to weaknesses and vulnerabilities, will no doubt get under his skin and will start another tweet storm. And my money's on Joe Biden if there's ever a real mano fight between him and Trump.
Well, we know we'll be front and center to watch that. All right, David, Elise, thank you so much for joining me.